Good Wednesday evening, Southeast Texas. We're going to take a deep dive in the next 15 minutes or so into our forecast over the next 7 days. The beauty of this streaming is that I have 15 minutes to go and talk about the forecast in depth rather than just 3 or 3:30. So we get a lot more detail and don't have to rush and give you a lot more information. Otherwise, we saw the fog this morning and we're going to see it again coming up tomorrow morning. That was a bird. Anyway, looking at how the clouds thinned out as the day progressed. We did have a few sprinkles up towards Hardin County earlier this afternoon. As you can see, as the atmosphere warmed, the clouds thinned out as we broke that morning or nocturnal inversion. Otherwise, right now, we're looking at fair skies over in Port Arthur. This view courtesy of Market Basket, part of the Roofing 911 Skycam network. And I said we're going to see more fog coming up tomorrow morning. But first, your allergy report today. It's better than what we saw yesterday. No tree pollen. Weed pollen still primarily ragweed, but it's at moderate levels. So we are moving in the right direction. But as usual, mold is at fairly high level, at moderate levels out there right now. So in your weather headlines, patchy dense fog is again possible coming up tomorrow morning. There are already advisories out for the fog tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, maybe a sprinkle or two. Otherwise, warm and humid, well above normal temperatures to the tune of about 10 to 15 degrees. Let's see, 69, 51, I'm sorry, 10 to 18 degrees above normal as far as your low and high temperature tomorrow. Scattered showers and storms are in the forecast coming up on Friday. We've got an upper level disturbance heading our way, but it's going to be running into a ridge of high pressure. So we do expect pretty good coverage up towards, say, northwest of our area. The line or broken line will be weakening as it heads our way. So we'll go with the 30% coverage as that line will likely be weakening. A weak front will then stall somewhere between north of the lakes area and also along the coastline. Model's not doing a real good job here the last few days. So it's kind of interesting to see where that front ends up. So we'll keep a slight chance coming up on Saturday. May get a little drier air mass filtering on into the area on Sunday, so that will cut our rain chances. But showers and storms are a good bet coming up late Monday, followed by a cool down behind that cold front. Otherwise, there's your dense fog advisories in effect for southwest Louisiana and southeast Texas, Orange and Jefferson counties. Right now, visibilities are at 10 miles. So that means that's 6:30, almost 6:33. So that means that we're not seeing any fog out there right now. So the lower these numbers go, the thicker the fog. And that's what we expect tomorrow morning. Pretty thick fog. I think a few spots could get down to a quarter of a mile. That's why we're issuing a weather impact alert for tomorrow morning. And what does that mean? Well, between the hours of, say, midnight at 9 a.m., we expect dense fog. So what's the local impact? The local impact is that the visibilities, again, could get down to a quarter mile or less. So that means you should probably leave early so you can reduce speed, because it's going to take you a little longer to see through the fog and navigate towards your destination tomorrow morning along the commute. So you don't want to have to rush through dense fog. That's unsafe. Use those low beams, pay attention, and put plenty of space between you and the next car, and you should be okay. So for tomorrow, we're going to go with a 10% coverage of isolated showers. It's going to be a breezy day coming up tomorrow with highs in the lower and mid 80s tomorrow. I don't think we'll get to the mid 80s here in the Triangle. May, but again, we expect partly sunny skies, and up in the lakes area, we'll go 83. Again, a breezy day, as winds could gust to 10 miles an hour. Again, that 10% coverage, and again, highs in the low to mid 80s are expected. Otherwise, as we take a look at tomorrow, we do expect very isolated light sprinkles or showers across the area. It's from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. So don't expect much, but could have to turn on the windshield wipers at times tomorrow. So go with that 10% coverage coming up tomorrow, and with that weakening line, we'll go with a 30% coverage coming up on Friday. Then, because of uncertainty exactly where that front's going to end up, the European has it along the coastline, and the GFS has it up north of the lakes area. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins that one. We'll go with a 20% coverage on Saturday. Maybe a little drier air mass moves in on Sunday, so no rain there. But Monday, we're going to go with keep with our 40% coverage of showers and storms. That'll be late Monday into Monday night. Now, you may see higher rain chances elsewhere. Not going to do that. The reason, modeling has been atrocious the last few days, And that's because we've talked about this many times. When you have disturbances coming out of Mexico embedded within that southwest flow, modeling does not do good on timing and also intensity of these systems. So, you know, we could see an 80% coverage. I think it's going to be real possible coming up on Monday. But I want to see the whites of its eyes. I want to see several runs of models showing me the same thing over and over again before we have more confidence. So right now, 40% seems reasonable, but it's going to be that day that we see the shower and thunderstorm activity across our area. The worst thing in the world is have to go, if you put out a 70 or 80% chance of rain and thunderstorms 6 or 7 days out, then you have to lower your rain chances. That's not good. So we'll keep it. It's always easier to increase rain chances as you go further into the forecast. After the front comes through, Tuesday into Wednesday, dry weather is expected across the area behind the front. So how much can we expect? Well, I have looked at many different models, and I'm going to take an average of about 1/2 inch in spots to maybe 1.5 to possibly 2 inches, and that's a lot of that's going to fall coming up late Monday as the main trough and cold front move through the area. And that would be wonderful news as we head on in to looking at the drought monitors. We're over 8 inches below normal just since September 1st with that severe drought ongoing over towards Liberty County and Hardin County, west Hardin County. No changes as far as the burn ban, still Jasper, Newton counties, and also Liberty counties under a burn ban. So tomorrow's wildfire danger threat not going to be an issue because it's going to be low. We've got plentiful moisture, even though the winds are going to be up. Plentiful moisture in the atmosphere. Humidities help to curtail the issues with wildfires. There's the showers, the very isolated sprinkles we saw today in through Hardin and also Tyler counties, roughly around the early afternoon hours. Otherwise, right now, as we take a look at the Pro Roofing Concepts satellite and radar loop, no rain. Temperatures are in the 70s, at least at the airports, as we're looking at fair to partly cloudy skies out there right now. And again, we do expect fog to form late tonight in the wee hours of the morning. Look at the dew points, well into the 60s to around the lower 70s. So we got plentiful moisture to work with to create that fog. And as you can see across the state, we are watching a southwest flow. This is emanating from the Pacific ahead of our storm system that's going to affect us coming up on Friday. And as I said, this front's not going to move our way because of that southwest flow, but also because the disturbance that created us is long gone, so this will wash out. But again, you can see the advection or transport of Pacific moisture over the state of Texas right there. See it? This is the disturbance I'm talking about. Look at the southwest flow, bringing in those high clouds across West Texas and also Oklahoma because of this deep trough of low pressure. Now, it's going to be weakening. Why? Look at the ridge of high pressure over Louisiana. So as this moves on in, it's got to either weaken and get shoved off towards the north and east over towards Kansas and Missouri, and that's exactly what we expect to happen. So we'll put our upper level pattern into motion. We'll be watching this disturbance that is currently over the Baja and over California. And again, there are not a lot of weather stations over this area of the world. So that's why modeling doesn't do well. It's the same principle that why do we need hurricane hunters? Well, tell me all the weather stations that are out in the Gulf or in the Atlantic. Not many. We need data. We need wind speed, wind direction, dew points, humidity, pressure. All that data goes into the models, and the models are run using equations that we have learned about the atmosphere to output model data like this. The more data that you have to go into those models, the better they do. That's why the Hurricane Center drops what are called dropsons. The hurricane hunters drop those weather stations, which are dropsons, from about 10,000 feet down to the surface. They collect wind speed, wind direction, humidity, pressure, dew point, all that, and goes into the forecast models. But again, look at the ridge of high pressure. You can see it right here. Ridge of high pressure. This is going to be running in to that ridge of high pressure. So it's got to weaken, and a lot of the energy's got to be shoved off towards Arkansas, Kansas, and Missouri. So we're not going to go with more than about a 30% coverage because I expect this to be weakening as far as the shower and thunderstorm activity. Then that passes, and it looks like a weak front pushes into our area somewhere as we head towards Saturday. It's not going to amount to too much. Then we turn our attention Saturday towards our next upper low coming out of the Pacific across the Baja. That goes off to the north and east, but the ridge has weakened by then, so we do expect this to make a little further movement into our area. So we expect a pretty good shot of shower and thunderstorm activity. I don't think it'll be a drought buster, but it will certainly move us in the right direction because of that cold front moving through. So tonight it's all about how much fog, how thick it will get. We do expect dense fog tomorrow morning. Look at those lows, only around 69, 70 degrees coming up tomorrow morning. And again, could see some sprinkles coming up tomorrow morning. And then in the afternoon, same thing, some sprinkles. And it looks like skies will be partly sunny tomorrow with highs into the low to mid 80s. On the Gulf, looking at, well, slightly choppy seas around 2 feet tomorrow with a southeast wind at 10 to 15 knots, water temperature 76. And again, areas of fog will be an issue near shore waters. So tonight, patchy dense fog. We're issuing that weather impact alert as winds go calm, only about 70 up in the lakes. We're going 69, 70 here in the triangle. Waters are still cool, but because we're closer to the water, maybe that will knock temperatures down a bit here in Beaumont and also over towards Vidor. But again, 69, let's see, our normal is 50. That's 18 degrees above normal to put things in perspective. So almost 20 degrees above normal tonight is what we're looking at as far as those low temperatures. Otherwise, tomorrow, we should be around 71. So we're looking about 10 degrees above normal tomorrow. So after the morning fog, we should see partly sunny, partly cloudy skies. It'll be warm and humid with highs low to mid 80s. And again, about a 10% coverage of showers is in the forecast as we head towards tomorrow afternoon. Taking a look at your weather impact 7-day forecast. So the red bar means a weather impact alert for Thursday morning, and that's all because of the fog. That will dissipate 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning after the commute, and we should go to partly sunny skies. What is partly sunny? Well, you know what mostly cloudy skies are. You know what partly cloudy skies are. We're in the middle between partly cloudy and mostly cloudy. Underneath those clouds, we could see that 10% coverage of showers, and it's going to be a breezy day. And we could see some wind gusts of about 20 miles an hour. Otherwise, it's going to be warm and humid. Then with that approaching upper level disturbance from embedded within that southwest flow coming out of the Baja, we'll go with about a 30% coverage of showers and storms. Now, we're going to see a good coverage further northwest of our area, but as I said, I believe this line is going to weaken as it approaches our area. So maybe a little better chance up towards Tyler County. We'll go with a 30% coverage here in the triangle. Weak front, and let me stress weak front, will be approaching our area Saturday. It's just too early to tell exactly where that front's going to end up, and that will dictate our weather. European, of course, as usual, brings it all the way down to the coast. GFS says what front? Keeps it north of the lakes area. So it makes it an extremely difficult forecast as to tell exactly where the front is. I kind of lean towards the European, but I wouldn't be surprised if it stalls somewhere between the lakes and the triangle as we head towards Saturday. With the front over the area, I'm going to go with 20% coverage of showers. Sunday, some of the dry air may mix into our area, so we'll go with a little more sun, maybe a little lower afternoon high temperatures and humidity, and no rain at this point. Monday, we're going to bet the farm. We're going to go with a 40% coverage. But again, I'm not going to go with high rain chances because of the atrocious record that the modeling has done over the last few days. Because I don't want to put a 70% coverage on my 7-day forecast, and then the next day the models flip-flop back, so I have to drop my rain chances down to a 50% or 40% coverage. It's just easier to increase as you get more confident in your forecast. Could be double what you see here. Now, I think that's a real